Yo, what's up, guys? Today we have a 7-round Bengals mock draft, and this is going to be the one right before the draft. We are 1 day away. I'm just going to go right into it here. The Bengals have a very interesting spot that they're drafting at. You know, they could go many positions at many spots, and they never really trade, so that kind of makes it easy for me. So I'm not going to say this is a predictive mock because I'm going to go with what I would want to do here, but I could very much see it happening similar, at least in the sense that they stay and pick, or I know they trade down some, so that could possibly happen too. But at 28, if we're sitting here, and I've gone a lot of these mock drafts with the Bengals that I tried out, I went with Jahmyr Gibbs. However, I have not had Emmanuel Forbes fall to me every single time, and I really like Emmanuel Forbes. So we're going to go Emmanuel Forbes there at 28. And that addresses a need. And I feel like he is a better version of Eli Apple. Different player, but definitely better. So in round 2, I'm kind of at a toss-up here because I really like Matthew Bergeron, and I think that the Bengals need to do whatever they can to make sure that O-line is good for Joe Burrow. And I really don't trust La'el Collins, especially off of his injury. I thought about Antonio Johnson, but if we take a look at their lineup, they do have young players here. So they have Nick Scott. So he's 28. So he's not the youngest, but obviously Dax Hill's young. They just drafted him last year, and Dax Hill has a lot of room to improve. He was a rookie and he barely got many snaps, so this grade's probably a little bit thrown off. Hence the dash there. The other player that I was looking at was going to be Keanu Benton. The Bengals do need some inside help. I don't really see Joseph Osai as a defensive tackle. I don't know, Bengals fans, you might think he is. I'm not completely sure about that. Zach Carter, right? Yeah, Zach Carter. They could definitely use some help on that D-line. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Keanu Benton. If anything was a weakness last year, it might have been their defense. Well, and it might have been their running game too. In round 3, I really like this spot. I think this is the perfect spot to go Tyjae Spears. And I wouldn't say we can, pencil him in as a Joe Mixon replacement, but I also think that Bengals fans are kind of like jumping off the boat with Joe Mixon and completely disregarding his possibility to play next year. I think he definitely plays next year, and I think if he plays, Spears is a good back to play alongside him. So we're going to go Tyjae Spears, and he could eventually turn into the running back one. They lost Samaje Perine. And, if they lose Joe Mixon too, they're going to be very, very down bad at running back. So they need to replace him there. Or they need to at least get some type of replacement. In round 4, 2 positions that I'm looking at here would be, I would maybe consider cornerback again in Keitrell Clark. But the main positions would be tight end, which Brenton Strange is there. I like that. And then the other position would be linebacker. And I do like these linebackers here. I like Noah Sewell, and Owen Papo is obviously very fast. I believe I got him switched up with Diabati from Utah. Yeah, Utah. Okay. I'm going to go tight end here. I don't really trust Irv Smith Jr. I know I've taken tight end in the first 2 rounds, and Bengals fans have said that that's too early now that they have Irv Smith. I'm not fully in with Irv Smith there. I don't think he's... I think he's definitely a downgrade from Hayden Hurst. That could be a controversial take, but, that's just what I think. And at 163, we haven't gone O-line yet. I know I said we needed to get that figured out, and I didn't do it myself, which, shows just how tempting it is to go other positions. And we're going to go right back to what they did previously. I'm going to go Jordan McFadden. I think Jordan McFadden slept on a little bit. And I know they have Jackson Carman. He came from Clemson, and he was supposed to be, a replacement for their trash O-line when Joe Burrow went down. And he hasn't not really worked out, although he didn't do terrible in the playoffs. I think Jordan McFadden could be, maybe a step up, at least at tackle. And then you can keep Jackson Carman as a backup for maybe that guard spot. I think he either played guard or tackle in the playoffs. Maybe it was left tackle. We're at 206 here. And believe it or not, Bengals fans, I thought about corner here, and I like Terrell Smith. I think he's a little bit underrated on this list here. I also like Carrington Valentine. You could probably get him in the 7th round though. But if you look at their lineup here, you know, they have Chidobe Awuzie coming off an injury, but he'll probably be back and ready to go. Mike Hilton's a beast in the slot. And then Cam Taylor-Britt actually had a pretty good year last year, especially as a rookie. And now we put Emmanuel Forbes in that mix. Like, I think they're pretty set on corner. I don't think we need to go corner again. You know, I also thought linebacker, but I have a plan for linebacker in a second. And as far as I remember, we didn't go linebacker yet, which I think they might need to address. Although they did sign back Jermaine Pratt, and they obviously have Logan Wilson, he's a dog. So, but you know, kind of staring me in the face right now, and staring you guys in the face too, is a quarterback. And I know it might seem crazy to go quarterback here, considering they have, you know, Joe Burrow, but we're not taking him as a replacement, of course. We're taking him as a backup. And I don't really trust Brandon Allen. I don't have the most trust in that O-line either, so we're going Jake Haener, and he's going to be the Joe Burrow backup for his entire career. So I like that for the Bengals. I think that gives them a potential to, you know, actually compete if Joe Burrow ever goes down. And then with the last pick for the Bengals, said I had a plan at linebacker, and I do. I like a lot of these guys left here. I like Mohamed Diabate, but he's not going to fall this far. He had a great grade last year. We're going to go Servassier Dennis to finish out the Bengals mock draft. The last one for 2023. I personally think this is how it should go. I think this is a good draft for the Bengals. They gave me an A-, so they agree mostly. Jake Haener's a good backup. You got a good linebacker to replace some of the guys that might leave. With Jermaine Pratt, I forget how long his deal is. We got a backup tackle. We got a backup tight end that could replace Irv Smith. A replacement for Joe Mixon if necessary. You know, a beast in the middle. Underrated pick at 60. Most likely won't fall that far. And then a beast at cornerback who could be a, you know, he could be a boomer or bust player, but it's worth the risk. And if he is a bust, it's not the biggest loss for the Bengals. They have decent cornerbacks in the room. They could just use that help. Thought about going Jahmyr Gibbs. Thought about going tackle earlier. But Bengals fans, let me know what you thought, and let me know what you would change. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.